Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. We're very happy you're joining us today. Whether you're relaxing at home, taking a walk, studying English, or listening during a break, thank you for spending some time with us. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mike. Today we're going to talk about something that affects almost everyone, no matter where they live or what they do. Our topic is modern life.
Modern life is something we experience every day, but we don't always stop and think about how it affects us. We wake up, check our phones, go to work or school, answer messages, and move from one task to another.
That's true. Life today often feels busy from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to sleep. Many people feel like there is always something demanding their attention.
And that's why this topic is so important. Modern life influences how we think, communicate, work, rest, and even how we feel emotionally.
It also affects our habits and relationships. Sometimes people feel tired, stressed, or distracted without fully understanding why.
During today's conversation, we'll discuss some common experiences people have in modern life. We'll also learn useful vocabulary and sentence patterns that can help you speak naturally about these experiences.
This is a very practical topic because conversations about daily life happen everywhere. Friends talk about it, coworkers talk about it, family members talk about it. Being able to discuss these ideas in English can make your conversations feel much more natural.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. When you hear the phrase modern life, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing I think about is speed. Everything feels like it's moving quickly. Technology changes quickly, information spreads quickly. People seem busier than ever.
That's interesting because speed is also the first thing I think about. Another question for you. Do you think modern life is easier than life was in the past?
In some ways, yes. We have more convenience. We can communicate instantly and access information in seconds. But in other ways, life feels more complicated.
I agree. We have many tools that make life easier, yet many people still feel overwhelmed. It's a fascinating contradiction.
And that's what makes this discussion interesting. Modern life brings many advantages, but it also creates challenges that previous generations didn't experience in the same way.
So, as we continue, let's explore why modern life often feels stressful, what causes those feelings, and how people are adapting to a world that never seems to slow down.
I think many of our listeners will relate to these experiences because modern life affects nearly everyone in one way or another.
One of the biggest questions people ask today is this: why does modern life feel so stressful? We have more technology, more convenience, and more opportunities than ever before, yet many people feel mentally exhausted.
That's a great question. I think one reason is that people are constantly receiving information. News updates, messages, emails, videos, advertisements, and notifications are everywhere.
Sometimes it feels like our brains never get a chance to rest. Even during free time, many people are still looking at screens or thinking about responsibilities.
That leads us to our first vocabulary word, distraction.
That's an excellent word for this topic. A distraction is something that takes your attention away from what you're doing.
For example, phone notifications can be a distraction while you're studying.
Or social media can become a distraction when you're trying to focus on work.
Modern life contains many distractions. In the past, people certainly had things that interrupted them, but today, those interruptions can happen every few minutes.
I've noticed that many people struggle to spend even a short period of time without checking a device.
The habit becomes automatic. Someone might pick up their phone without even realizing they're doing it.
Another issue is that people often feel pressure to stay informed about everything happening around them.
That's true. There seems to be an endless stream of information. Some people feel like they're missing something important if they disconnect for a few hours.
Which brings us to another useful vocabulary word, pressure.
Pressure means a feeling that you must do something or meet certain expectations.
For example, many people feel pressure to respond to messages immediately.
Or employees may feel pressure to stay connected to work even after office hours.
What's interesting is that these pressures are not always obvious. Sometimes they exist quietly in the background.
That's why modern stress can be difficult to identify. People become so accustomed to it that it starts to feel normal.
I once noticed that after a long day of messages, emails, and notifications, I felt tired even though I hadn't done anything physically demanding.
I can relate to that. Mental exhaustion can be just as powerful as physical exhaustion.
Another thing I've observed is that people often try to multitask. They're watching a video, answering messages, and thinking about work at the same time.
The problem is that the brain isn't always good at handling multiple things simultaneously. Constant switching between tasks can be tiring.
And because modern life encourages this behavior, many people end up feeling drained without understanding the cause.
That's why it's valuable to examine our habits carefully. Sometimes the things that seem normal are actually creating a lot of stress.
So, if distractions and pressure are common experiences, the next question is this: why are these things becoming so common?
To answer that, we need to look at technology, work culture, and expectations society places on people today.
Let's start with technology. Technology provides incredible benefits, but it also changes how people spend their time and attention.
Many digital platforms are designed to keep people engaged for as long as possible. The longer people stay online, the more content they consume.
This means that attention has become extremely valuable. Companies compete for it every day.
Social expectations also play an important role. People often compare themselves to others online.
They see successful careers, exciting vacations, beautiful homes, and carefully selected moments from other people's lives.
The challenge is that these images don't always represent reality. Most people share their best moments, not their ordinary ones.
That comparison can create unrealistic expectations. People may feel like they need to achieve more, earn more, or accomplish more.
Work culture contributes to this as well. Many people believe they should always be productive,
Being busy is often treated as a sign of success.
which can make rest feel less important than it actually is.
Let's teach our listeners a useful sentence pattern they can use when discussing modern life.
Great idea. The pattern is, sometimes I feel pressured to.
For example, sometimes I feel pressured to check my phone constantly.
Or sometimes I feel pressured to stay busy even when I need a break.
Native speakers use this pattern naturally when discussing expectations, stress, and daily life.
Another reason modern life feels intense is that people are exposed to far more information than previous generations.
In the past, information traveled more slowly. Today, people can learn about events happening anywhere in the world within seconds.
While that can be useful, it can also be overwhelming. The human mind wasn't necessarily designed to process endless information all day.
That's why many people feel mentally tired even when they're sitting quietly.
They're still processing conversations, notifications, news, responsibilities, and future plans.
Modern life creates a situation where the mind is rarely inactive.
And when that becomes a daily habit, stress can start to feel normal, even when it isn't.
Understanding these causes is important because awareness is often the first step toward making healthier choices.
And as we'll discuss next, the effects of modern life extend far beyond stress. They can influence attention, relationships, emotions, and the overall way people experience everyday life.
That's a very important point. When people become aware of what's causing stress, they can start making healthier choices. But before that happens, it's helpful to understand how modern life affects everyday experiences.
I agree. Many of these effects seem small at first, but they can influence nearly every part of daily life.
Let's start with communication. Do you think people communicate differently today than they did in the past?
Without question, communication is faster than ever, but it isn't always deeper. People can send messages instantly, yet meaningful conversations sometimes happen less often.
I've noticed that too. It's common for people to exchange dozens of messages during the day while still feeling disconnected from one another.
That's because communication and connection aren't necessarily the same thing. A person can be in contact with many people without feeling truly understood.
Family life can be affected as well. Sometimes family members are together physically, but everyone's attention is focused on different devices.
That's becoming increasingly common. Instead of sharing one experience together, each person is interacting with a separate digital world.
Friendships can change in similar ways. Social media helps people stay updated, but it can sometimes replace real conversations.
And friendships usually grow through shared experiences, not just quick updates.
Work life has changed dramatically too. Many employees are expected to answer messages quickly and remain available throughout the day.
Which creates a feeling that work never completely ends. Even after leaving the office, some people continue thinking about tasks, emails, and deadlines.
That brings us to an important vocabulary word: availability.
Availability means being ready or able to respond, help, or communicate.
For example, modern technology increases availability because people can often be contacted at any time.
Or someone might say, my job requires a high level of availability during the week.
Another area affected by modern life is education. Students today have incredible access to information.
That's a major advantage. A learner can find courses, tutorials, and educational resources within seconds.
Yet the same devices that provide learning opportunities can also create distractions. A student may begin researching one topic and suddenly spend 20 minutes looking at unrelated content.
Which makes concentration more difficult.
And concentration is becoming increasingly valuable. Let's introduce another useful vocabulary word: engagement.
Engagement means active attention, interest, or involvement.
For example, a teacher wants students to show engagement during a lesson.
Or a manager might encourage greater engagement during meetings.
Emotional well-being is also affected by the pace of modern life. People often move from one responsibility to another without much time to reflect.
Reflection is important because it helps people process experiences and emotions.
Without reflection, stress can build gradually.
And people may not realize how tired they have become until they reach a breaking point.
So, modern life affects communication, relationships, work, study habits, and emotional health.
Which is why understanding these effects isn't just interesting, it's practical and relevant to everyday life.
Something I've been thinking about lately is that the biggest effects of modern life are often the ones people rarely discuss.
That's an interesting observation. Most conversations focus on technology itself, but fewer people talk about how technology changes behavior over time.
For example, many people have become uncomfortable with quiet moments.
That's true. Waiting in line, sitting on a train, or spending a few minutes alone used to be normal experiences. Now, many people immediately look for stimulation.
And because those quiet moments disappear, people have fewer opportunities to think deeply.
I think that's one reason many adults feel mentally crowded. Their minds are constantly occupied by information.
Another hidden effect is how modern life changes expectations.
In what way?
People often expect quick results: fast communication, fast delivery, fast progress, fast solutions.
That's a great point. When everything moves quickly, patience becomes more difficult.
Yet some of the most meaningful things in life develop slowly.
Relationships, skills, confidence, trust, and personal growth all require time.
I've also noticed that people compare themselves more frequently than before.
That's because they're exposed to so many examples of other people's lives.
The challenge is that comparisons are often incomplete,
People usually share achievements rather than struggles,
which can create unrealistic expectations.
and unrealistic expectations often lead to unnecessary frustration.
Let's teach our listeners another useful sentence pattern.
Good idea.
The pattern is, one thing I've noticed is,
For example, one thing I've noticed is that I feel more focused when I limit distractions.
or one thing I've noticed is that meaningful conversations improve my mood.
Native speakers use this pattern naturally when sharing observations and personal experiences.
It sounds thoughtful and conversational.
And it's especially useful when discussing modern life, habits, and self-improvement.
The more we examine these hidden effects, the clearer it becomes that modern life is more than technology.
It's really about how people choose to use their time, attention, and energy.
Now let's focus on some useful English vocabulary that listeners can use when discussing modern life. Our first word is routine.
A routine is a regular set of actions that someone follows.
For example, my morning routine helps me start the day calmly. Routine is commonly used when discussing habits and lifestyle.
Our second word is flexibility.
Flexibility means the ability to adapt to different situations.
For example, remote work gives employees more flexibility.
The third word is convenience.
Convenience means something that makes life easier or saves time.
For example, online banking provides a lot of convenience.
Another useful word is priority.
A priority is something considered especially important.
For example, spending time with family is one of my top priorities.
And our final word is awareness.
Awareness means understanding or recognizing something clearly.
For example, greater awareness helped me improve my daily habits.
These vocabulary words appear frequently in conversations about work, lifestyle, personal development, and modern society.
And when learners combine these words with the sentence patterns we've practiced, their English becomes more natural and expressive.
Building vocabulary is important, but learning how to use these words in real conversations is what truly builds confidence.
That's such an important idea. The way people manage their attention, time, habits, and relationships can have a huge impact on their daily experience.
It can. The good news is that people don't always need major lifestyle changes to feel better. Small improvements can often create meaningful results over time.
I think that's encouraging because dramatic changes can feel overwhelming. Small changes usually feel more realistic.
And they're often easier to maintain. For example, someone might decide to spend 10 minutes each day away from screens instead of trying to completely change their lifestyle overnight.
That's a great example. Small habits tend to build momentum.
Another helpful habit is creating moments of intentional rest. Many people schedule work and responsibilities, but they don't schedule recovery.
That's true. Rest is often treated as something people do only when they have extra time.
Yet recovery is important for maintaining energy and focus.
Spending time outdoors can help. Reading, exercising, listening to music, or simply sitting quietly can help people feel refreshed.
One useful vocabulary word here is recharge.
Recharge means restoring energy after becoming tired, stressed, or mentally exhausted.
For example, a quiet evening helps me recharge after a busy week.
Or, spending time with friends helps me recharge emotionally.
Another useful word is well-being.
Well-being refers to a person's overall physical, emotional, and mental health.
For example, getting enough sleep improves my well-being.
Or, creating healthy routines supports long-term well-being.
I've noticed that many people become happier when they stop trying to do everything at once.
I agree. Sometimes simplifying life can reduce stress more effectively than becoming more productive.
Let's teach our listeners another useful sentence pattern.
Good idea. The pattern is I've been trying to,
For example, I've been trying to spend less time checking notifications.
or I've been trying to create a healthier daily routine,
Another natural pattern is I'm learning how to,
such as I'm learning how to manage my time better.
or I'm learning how to focus on what's most important.
Native speakers often use these patterns when discussing personal growth and positive changes.
And they sound natural because they emphasize progress rather than perfection.
That's something worth remembering. Improvement usually happens gradually.
Small choices repeated consistently often lead to the biggest changes.
Now let's give our listeners a chance to practice speaking English.
If possible, answer these questions out loud. Speaking out loud helps transform passive learning into active communication.
Here's the first question. What part of modern life do you enjoy the most?
Second question, what part of modern life do you find most challenging?
Third question. Have you been trying to improve any daily habits recently?
Fourth question, what activities help you recharge after a busy day?
Fifth question. How do you maintain balance between work, study, and personal life?
Take your time and answer in complete sentences if possible.
You can use some of today's vocabulary and sentence patterns in your responses.
For example, you might say, I've been trying to spend less time online before bed.
Or, one thing I've noticed is that exercise helps me stay focused.
You could also say, I'm learning how to create a better balance in my life.
Remember, the goal is not perfect English. The goal is expressing your thoughts clearly and confidently.
And the more often you practice speaking, the easier it becomes.
Before we finish today's episode, let's quickly review what we discussed.
We talked about how modern life affects communication, relationships, work, education, and emotional health.
We explored some of the reasons people feel stressed, including distractions, constant information, and social expectations.
We also discussed less obvious effects, such as changing habits, reduced patience, and the challenge of maintaining meaningful connections.
Along the way, we learned useful vocabulary, including distraction, pressure, availability, engagement, routine, flexibility, convenience, priority, awareness, recharge, and well-being.
We also practiced several natural sentence patterns that can help you discuss modern life more confidently in English.
Most importantly, we explored the idea that a healthy life is not about avoiding technology or responsibilities.
It's about finding balance and making intentional choices that support long-term well-being.
And now it's time for our question of the day.
We'd love to hear your answer.
What is one simple habit that helps you feel more balanced and focused in daily life?
Share your answer in the comments. You can start with, I've been trying to, or one thing I've noticed is that.
We always enjoy reading your responses because they help build a supportive learning community.
They also give you a chance to practice writing in English using real-life topics.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, please like, comment, and subscribe to Speak English Daily.
Your support helps us continue creating practical and enjoyable English lessons for learners around the world.
Keep practicing a little every day, stay consistent, and keep building your confidence.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Take care, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.